I'll talk about these in a couple of minutes. I really do want to talk about them because they do fit in with the movie so well. He acted while he was at the Todd School for Boys, but it really wasn't his passion. I mean, he just really wanted to be a painter. So at the age of 15 and a half, I think it was, he just told his guardian dad, he said, I'm off to Ireland. And nobody could control my father. If he wanted to do something, that was it. You know, off he went at the age of 15 and a half from, from Woodstock, Illinois. He just went to Dublin, and he got himself a donkey and cart and went around Ireland painting. And, of course, run out of money pretty quickly. And so the only thing he could think of doing was going to Dublin. He went to the Gay Theatre in Dublin, and he knocked on the door, and he said, hello, I'm Orson Welles, and I'm a famous Broadway actor. And they all, of course, said, well, yeah, sure. But the true story is that Hilton Edwards and Michael McLeamore, who are the owners and producers they were the owners of the actual theater, but they also produced and directed and starred in all the plays there, said, you know, we knew damn well that he was not a Broadway actor, but he had so much chutzpah, we just had to hire him. And so he always said he started his life, his career at the top and worked his way down. But they actually put him in a starring role as the first role at the Gay Theatre. But the Gay Theatre, why I'm mentioning the Gay Theatre, is because the play Chimes at Midnight, which was called Falstaff then, was actually done at the Gay Theatre. And it happened to be his last performance on stage, which is really interesting, that it would be at the first theater he ever acted in, which was the Gay Theatre. We did it on stage. Nobody knows that I was in the play as well. Everybody knows I was in this movie. And I have such a long story to tell about that, but I won't. I was on stage, and I used to come out. I have no recollection at all. All I remember is that my father used to say, never look at the audience. So all I did was stare at the audience. I was fascinated by this blackness that I knew was full of people. But I did something, and obviously it must have been very cute or something, because I got a huge round of applause every night. Now, that would make you think that I would want to become an actress. It was about the last thing I've ever wanted to be. So being famous, being well-known is not up my alley. And this year is going to be a big change for me, because I am going to be out there, and I am the biggest fan of Orson Welles that there ever was. And not just as his daughter. I have to talk about, I run the estate, so I actually have a lot of business side of things to take care of. The fact that he left absolutely nothing has been very, very difficult for me. But we've done our best, and we've tried to protect everything that he had, and it's very difficult when you don't own a movie, but so many people have tried to destroy his movies. And I really do mean the word destroy, because they've tried to change them, they've done some terrible things to him. They did it while he was alive, and it nearly destroyed him. He was devastated by what they did to him. So when we talk about Chimes at Midnight, we talk about a movie that he was left alone to do. The fact that he had no money, and that we won't mention who the producers are because we like them, but they didn't give him enough money. He put his own money into it, like he always did with all his movies, but he was actually left alone to do this movie the way he wanted to. It's a very, very beautiful movie. It is Shakespeare. You have to be ready for Shakespeare. It's Wells Shakespeare. It is a beautiful story. I think it's the best acting he has ever done, is in playing Falstaff in Chimes at Midnight, without a doubt. He was incredible in it, as you will see. It's very touching, it's very funny, you cry, there's everything to it. It has everything that you want in a movie. And the reason I say, you mentioned Chimes of Midnight as being a beautiful movie. It was, as you will see, there are some scenes like only Orson Welles could do. And those are like paintings. And nobody ever put the two together, the fact that he was a painter. And by being a painter, he did do those extraordinary, I mean, if you watch an Orson Welles movie, you're always blown away by some scene or other. And when he came to live here, which he did, we lived here for 2 years, and he absolutely loved it. And he did these two paintings when he was here. I mean, this one here was for my mother, and you can see he did it with the dark sky. He used to love the red rocks with the dark, thundering skies behind it. And then the other one was for me. It was actually a Christmas card, and it says for Beatrice on it. And you can see, I mean, that was part of his art, and I think these are quite extraordinary. And I wanted to show them to you. They are, we're actually doing an exhibition. I don't know if you know, there's an exhibition going on just down the road on 89A and Dry Creek Road. It's the Golden Sign Gallery, and I would love you to go see his work. There's just very few pieces. See, I found them in storage about 2 years ago. I didn't even know I had them, and it's amazing what I found. I'm absolutely thrilled. But this movie means so much to me. It means so much to him because this is the movie he wanted to be remembered for, not Citizen Kane. He wanted this movie to shine above everything else, and it never had a chance. It was acclaimed in Europe, as always, but in America, you know, it was another black and white Shakespearean movie. I think it was, I don't even think it was distributed all over America. So most of you probably have never even heard of Chimes of Midnight. Am I right? Okay, so for me to present the movie that he loved with a passion and wanted to be remembered by, I would like you to think about that when you watch this movie. And you probably have to watch it a couple of times, or 3 or 4, we like. You need to see it on the big screen. I think the big screen is where it should be. It was shot for the big screen. It was not shot for TV or whatever we do nowadays. It's a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful movie, and I hope that after you see this movie, you will remember him for this movie and not just Citizen Kane, because this is the movie that he loved so much. I was in it, by the way, just for a few seconds. You see me now and there. I had a bigger part, but I got very ill during the movie, just before the movie started, and I actually was in, is there something wrong with me? You know, it's always something wrong with me. But I was in bed for 9 months during the shooting of this picture, and they used to drag me out, and there was a scene that, you know, you couldn't cut, and at the end, I really don't want to spoil it for you, but there's a scene at the end where I'm, you know, sitting there and I'm moping because Falstaff does die at the end, and we shot this whole shot with me with a big pillow underneath my bottom because it was freezing cold, it was cement, and it was cut perfect, you know, one shot, that was it. I go home and suddenly there's this phone call saying, bring her back, it's this pillow, we can't have pillows. So I had to redo the story, I had to redo the shot, and the shot, of course, took me like, 90 takes before I got it right. But anyway, so you will see that in the movie. But I hope you love this movie as much as he loved it himself. It means a great deal to me, and I'm so grateful to Patrick for accepting me screeching at him and saying, please, please, can we show Chimes of Midnight? You haven't seen it. This is a restoration. It's not a very good restoration, I'll have to tell you. But I got some very, very good news. There is a very big distribution house that has it. I can't say who the name is, and they're going to restore it to pristine, and it will be probably out next year. And I hope you will watch it then. Enjoy what you see now. It is breathtaking. I'm not telling you that it isn't. But for a long time, couldn't even understand the word they were saying. It was in such bad shape. And thank God the Cinematheque in Spain restored it, because it was all shot in Madrid. I think I've rattled on enough, and I want to, again, thank you so much for coming. Please, hope you enjoy this movie. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatrice.